Hi guys, welcome back to another Matchbox Garage video, where today I'm going to attempt to take this box of parts and try to build an airplane. This is the Matchbox Skyservant and a 3-colour kit, very fancy. This one's built in the early 70s, so actually almost 50 years old, this kit. And you can see here the box is, it's seen better days, but I think everybody would after almost 50 years. So yeah, this one, I've actually bought 2 kits. The other one is a Brewster Buffalo, which is a slightly newer model. But yeah, I thought I'd start off with this one. In my 36 years on this earth, I have never put together one of these Airfix kits. And I don't even know whether I can I call it an Airfix kit? I think that's just another brand. But that's how I know them to be. But yeah, I thought this is Matchbox Garage. It's not Matchbox Cars Garage, right? You know, we can put a plane together. But yeah, this, you know, it's a 3-colour kit with some, you know, the Federal German naval aircraft, or the ambulance was another option, but I certainly went down the German route today. But yeah, let's get on with it. I'm going to grab my little knife here. This, I think, by the looks of it, was started by someone, who knows when, but they very quickly gave up. I think they kind of just took a couple of parts off and then quickly realised they perhaps didn't have the right paint or just didn't have the time. This one has taken me quite a while, and you know, having never done it before, there's certainly mistakes along the way, which I try to fix, and you know, I've enjoyed it. It's probably taken me 3 days. You know, coming backwards and forwards to it. As you can see, this one's obviously been repacked. But yeah, kind of coming backwards and forwards to it. Doing a little bit, then having to kind of leave it alone, wait for it to dry. Come back again a couple of hours later. You know, go at it for half an hour, then leave it again. So yeah, you know, what with the New Year's period, having that kind of time to be able to do that, it was quite enjoyable, and also just doing something different. You know, I've done 200 videos now, and I just thought maybe something kind of taking me out of my comfort zone will have a positive effect for the rest of the channel. And certainly, like all my videos, if this video was to reach 2,000 likes, sure enough, I'll get it packaged up and sent to one of you guys. But also, let me know whether you want to see me do another one. You know, like I say, I've got this Brewster Buffalo, and if this video does well, I'll see some positivity in the comment section, then sure, I'll give another one a go. What I would like to ask is, if there are people out there that are good at this, pros at this, experienced with this, and you can see what I've been doing wrong, please do comment below with your help, advice and suggestions. I can certainly do with it, especially if I'm going to do this other one. But yeah, so what does it read here? The Dornier Skyservant is a development of earlier D027 and D028 and is in service in some 20 different countries. This general purpose aircraft has a seating capacity of up to 12 passengers and can be used for freight, rescue or police service, photographic surveys and many other specialist functions. The whole aircraft has been designed for the utmost ease of maintenance and simplicity, and its rugged construction makes for suitable use under the most adverse conditions and for rough field operation. 125 Skyservants have been ordered by the German Armed Forces, and the aircraft holds 6 world records under the FAI rules. So anyway, let's open it up. So we can see kind of instructions: number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I must admit, when I opened this up, I thought, how hard can this be? Stick a few bits together. Should only take me an hour or so. How wrong was I? But yeah, we're going to go through that, obviously, number 1 section first. And I should have probably read everything throughout the booklet before I started construction, because I put this together and I thought it's going to be really difficult now to paint, these people. Because I was going on to number 2, and I thought, but I can't stick this inside because I haven't even painted it first. And indeed, what I did miss was this part on the left here that says paint required parts before assembly. Assemble parts in sequence. Black numbers in circle indicate part number, and black numbers in start indicate completed section. So I've kind of started a little bit too, a bit too quick. There's obviously the code letters A, B, C, etc. shown on the colour plan. So you can see that A is dark green, B is dark sea grey, and then there's silver, orange, black, white, yellow, blue, flesh. Looking at the back page here, this kind of does the minor parts and the colour breakdown of each one. And obviously this over here is where we need to paint. And I guess it would have been easier to paint it whilst it was separated, but at the same time, I was able to paint it whilst it was all together. Now, this whole, I was about to just say casting, but this whole scale kit is all in enamel paints. The majority of the painting is done by airbrush, and there was some brushed on parts, mainly in areas of forget or touch up. But yeah, there's the first coat. And then after a few coats, we'll leave this to dry. All of this is in like a satin finish. But whilst I was actually putting this together, the kind of doorbell rung, and Mr. Postman was here, and I had a delivery for Matchbox Garage. But anyway, it reads, "Hi Rob, I've sent you a couple of my spare sets of plates. You'll notice that Alaska issues and requires plates to be displayed front and back, while Florida does not. Florida is also more decorative, as both of these sets are standard designs. Most states have multiple options. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the holidays, and thank you for your providing the world with your interesting things there." And that was from Gideon. And Gideon, we done a commission for him recently that I'm hoping is going to reach him any day soon. But these are the plates. Beautiful plates. As I'm sure most of you guys now know, I like to collect American license plates, but we got a couple of Alaska ones here. I'm sure these look brand new. They don't even look used. And then just before we move on, we got that beautiful Florida plate there. And those will be going up on my wall shortly. So thank you very much, Gideon. But anyway, let's get on with this Skyservant. So we've painted now that section of number 1. And we need to consider what we need to do about putting, number 2 together. But of course, we need to now consider painting these parts rather than putting them together and then painting them after. Again, I don't know what is right or wrong with this. Your kind of help and suggestions down below. Now, as you can see, I'm going through all of this. The underside of this airplane needs to be in like a silver colour, and then the top is in kind of camo, I guess you could say. As per the box here, there is some bright orange areas, which is confusing. But I'm going to try and paint each individual piece separately and before gluing them together, and no doubt for touch up. Now it does show in that picture like I guess a solid line between the silver belly and the camo top, but there is nowhere. So I'm going to do like I guess you could say a fade. So I'm just going to paint the underside of the aircraft fuselage, and then paint the underside of the well, this is actually the top of the wing, so I'm just gonna, but there's I guess a part that's coming down to form part of the bottom of the wing, so I'll just make sure that I'm going to put a cover of silver on that, and I'll probably put, I would say, 3 coats on each of these eventually. And then this section is a whole, I guess, under wing section. So this will all be getting a cover of silver. And again, it's a satin silver that I'm using. And then this is the part of the rear. And this was a mistake that I didn't pick up on because I painted both sides in silver, but I'll get that later on with a repaint. And then these are the sections around the wheels, and they also will be getting satin silver. And then with all those satin silver parts to one side drying, we'll be pulling out my little brush here, see if we can detail the little fellas and those seats. So the seats have taken, like on the face of the seats, like a darker grey, and then the pilots there, a blue suit, black boots, black gloves, black helmet, and obviously pink back into the face, or like a fleshy pink. So yeah, like I say, we've got the underside there all in satin silver, and then we're now going to start hitting up from the top. And I'll start with a green, and then I'll come back in with the grey once this is dried. I found the orange plastic to be quite a bugger to actually cover up. The green though doing a better job at covering than the silver. But yeah, I'm interested to learn if you guys that do these aircraft scale kits, whether you would use an airbrush or just go with a hand painting. Yeah, here's the main fuselage. Obviously remembering that we've painted the underbelly of this fuselage in the satin silver, So wanting to make sure that I don't go over it, so I have to fade it. And this will get a few coats. And then as you can see, the camo in this, you got the green and then you've got a grey. So putting the grey now into my airbrush. The green is dry, as you can see. And then just kind of adding a few, I guess, camo stripes. One there. And one there. And that will dry into a nice satin finish. I tried to make the stripes somewhat symmetrical on both sides of the plane. Not exactly, but you know, some effort being made. But it's the following day and everything so far is dry. And again, I don't know whether this is a right thing or wrong thing. Please, your comments down below. I've painted these whilst in the, I don't even know what you call that thing, but I haven't obviously cut them all out. I was just wondering, if I cut those smaller pieces out, how am I going to hold on to it whilst painting it? So, you know, I needed to do maybe a couple of little touch-ups in some areas, you know, after cutting it out, but that seemed to work for me. But yeah, we're on to section number 3 now. So we've got the propellers here. And one thing that I'm not sure whether I showed at the beginning, it seemed like I had a couple of spare propellers. And I just painted these ones up, but I'm not 100% sure these are the correct ones for this aircraft, because it just didn't fit properly. And I can't find what I've done with the other two. So eventually, so these, well, basically, the short is these propellers don't turn. They're glued shut. Whereas if I had the other propellers, perhaps they would be turning today. But we're moving on to the next section, and then we find a fault. So I've painted some, obviously, darker grey areas underneath, and then the silver for on top. So this had to kind of come back in and sprayed and made it correct. And then we find another fault. So you've got silver underneath and then silver on top. So we've had to paint that again. Now it's still very wet, and this is brush painted on, and it certainly has a different finish. It's more, even though this is satin paint, when you brush it on, it certainly becomes more glossy. But obviously we've got all the wings into place now. That bright orange towel fin, and then we're just going to start doing the wheel section in the last one here. And here we have the wheels in position, all now in the right colour, and even the wheels do turn. So what I'm going to do is add on these decals now, and then what I've done is I've kind of fixed it all in with some satin clear. But this is the final result. So you can see all the decals in there. Got the little German flag on that rear wing. The numbers there, 5910, may have some meaning to somebody. Obviously on the side of the fuselage there, you've got the German crosses on the top of the wings and on the underside. But yeah, this one took a lot longer than I thought. A lot longer than I'd hoped. More difficult than I could have imagined. But now that it's finished, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, I'm glad I've done it and I've enjoyed it. There's certainly a lot to learn. But for my first attempt, I think it was alright. So let me know what you guys think as well. And like I say, any hints or tips, I'm all ears. But anyway, just want to thank my amazing patrons. And like any airplane toy, of course, you need to fly it around, right? See? We're having fun. Anyway, cheers guys.